everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. This is Granmommy, and I always appreciate you joining me, and I hope that you're doing some cooking and learning some good recipes. So if you have questions on anything, feel free to comment, send me a note. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. I really appreciate that, so more and more people can learn how to make all this yummy food. Anyway, at Grandmommy's house, food is all about love and everybody's welcome. And today we are making blueberry peach crisp. So a crisp is kind of like a pie filling, but with only a crunchy topping. So let's get baking here at Grandmommy's house. All right, so blueberry peach crisp. So I'm going to start with the filling first, and remember, crisp is like a pie but doesn't have a bottom crust, it just has a topping. It's much quicker and easier. So you start out with whatever filling you want to use. I'm using peaches and blueberries because I had peaches in the freezer and I want to use those. And when I took my peaches out of the freezer, it calls for 4 cups of peaches and 2 cups of blueberries. I had about 1 3/4 cup of peaches, and that'll be fine, and my 2 cups of blueberries. But you could do rhubarb and strawberry, you could do apple, just any kind of filling. So I'm stirring my fruit up with 1/3 cup of flour, and if you wanted to add cinnamon or spices to the filling, this is where you would do it. So my peaches and blueberries, I have them mixed up. The flour, of course, is in there to help the filling, the juices thicken up, so you have a nice gooey filling when it all bakes. So I'm going to put this in a 9 by 13. So about 6 cups of whatever fruit you want to use if you're making a 9 by 13. If you're only going to make, say you don't need this large a serving, although this freezes up really well, you could use a small 8 by 8 or a 9 by 9 pan. So I'm just going to spread my fruit around on the bottom. See how pretty that blueberry and peach is together? Yummy. Just get it kind of even in the pan. There's so many things that you can put in the freezer, so when you're baking, just like when I make apple pies, I usually never make less than 3 while I have out the dough and all the apples, and then we'll have one and I'll put 2 in the freezer. And then when I need one, there it is, already made, and I don't have to get everything going again. There's just so many ways to keep your cooking simple and to plan ahead and cook ahead. All right, so there's my filling, peaches and blueberries. Now for the crisp topping, in this bowl I have 1 cup of oatmeal, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of flour, and I have cinnamon and nutmeg. So this is going to add a little flavoring too. I'm going to stir this up together first, and then I'm going to add one of my favorite ingredients of all, which of course would be butter. So I have 1 stick of butter that I have melted, and I've let it cool down. And one thing to remember when you're melting butter is to keep it on low. You don't want it to melt too fast or it will separate, and you don't want that to happen. So put it on a very low temperature. If you microwave things, you could try that. As you know, I'm not a fan of microwaves, so I just put mine in a little pan and I let it melt on the stove. So I've cooled it off. I'm going to add this to the oatmeal, to the brown sugar and the flour and the cinnamon and the nutmeg. And I'm just using a fork. You could use a pastry blender, any number of things, just to get the butter blended in with the flour, brown sugar, oatmeal, cinnamon, and nutmeg. And you could use canned peaches too. Just make sure to drain the syrup off before you put them in a crisp. If you're making a peach cobbler, you would leave all that syrup in, but for a crisp, you don't want all that liquid. So you could just drain the liquid off and put the peaches in here and just grab some fresh blueberries and mix in. So we've got this lovely pan of fruit with sugar and flour to thicken it. And now I've got this, and I like to just use my hands and just sprinkle it all over the top. It smells good. That's the fun of cooking. One of my favorite smells is yeast, bread, and dough when I'm making cinnamon rolls or bread. Smells so good. I have a cookie I make during the holidays that has yeast in it. Don't know what it is, but it smells so good. And when it's baking, it even adds more aroma to the kitchen. So I'm just kind of evenly spreading this around. It's not going to be exact or perfect, but all the fruit's going to have some topping. There we go. All right. Blueberry peach crisp going in the oven at 350 for 35 minutes. I'm going to put this in the oven and I'll be back with you when it's all done. All right, so our blueberry peach crisp is done. I baked it for 35 minutes. The timer just went off, so let me grab it out of the oven and just show you how yummy it is. And it is smelling so good in here. Here we go. Bubbly, nice and bubbly. Look at this beautiful thing. So you've got this crispy top on the peaches and the blueberries. So let me just dish up a little bit of this so you can see how good this is. See all that gooey goodness? Oatmeal, sugar, peaches, blueberries. Look at this. Yeah. And then, you know what I'm going to do to make it even better? Got a little bit of vanilla ice cream here. I'm going to put it on while this is piping hot. It's going to melt all over here. Oh, and make it even better. There we go. Blueberry peach crisp. Yum. Thank you so much for joining me today in Grandmommy's kitchen. Like and share and subscribe so lots of other people can enjoy these recipes and this yummy food. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.